One of you wanted me to make a post about the 524 email bomb that came up in the trial. And I have wanted to make this post. I just was like delaying it because I didn't have my full thoughts wrapped around this. And now, now I'm like, it's not just a bomb. I think it's a bigger bomb than I originally even conceived of it being. Because originally the way that I was thinking about this 524 work email is that it just shortened his window. That it shortened his window of time and shortened the window of time for Lindsay to be outside and her body temperature dropping to 82 degrees or less. Because I am going with the fact that her body temperature must have been 79 or 80 because she already had time in the ambulance, she already had time in the emergency room, and already had time under the bear hugger hypothermia treatment blankets. And so for her body temperature to be 82, I'm thinking it has to have been raised at least 3, possibly 2 degrees by the time that they get a core temperature rating. So originally in my mind, what I was thinking is, oh my gosh, this shortens her window of time to be outside to even like much less, because originally what we're to believe out of this case is that Patrick leaves at 5:15 and then arrives at CVS at 5:32. So there's this missing 17 minutes of time that is like, he admits in the trial that it only takes 3 minutes for him to get from home to CVS. And so then the 524 email moves him to the basement later than what he's already claimed, but then that makes more sense that he doesn't show up on CVS surveillance until 5:32, because let's say he finishes the email, sends it off. Mind you, in my mind, this is the bomb because it places him in the basement where the kids are found later than what he already confesses to or already wants us to believe is the truth. And so I'm like, wow, it's just so weird that he doesn't feel worried at all to admit that he was in the basement. And Lindsay has really no reason to be in the basement whatsoever. That's not her realm of the house, in my opinion. So now I'm thinking this whole time that the bomb is that he's in the basement responding to a work email, which means that there's less time for Lindsay to be outside. And this makes it harder for us to believe that Lindsay between 5:15 and 5:32 is already in the act of carrying out this thing against her kids, which now it makes sense to me as to why he's trying to say that the 14-second call is where he thinks that Lindsay has already started to do this. Because if he knows that he just started to do this and he left at 5:29, and he's walked into CVS and he's like, oh man, she seems really distracted. How can you make that conclusion out of a 14-second call? That's where I was thinking all of the bomb from this email is residing in what we've now seen in the trial. But what I'm really thinking is, if Kevin Readington is really pulling these strings knowingly the way that I think he's pulling these strings, I love this man already, okay? If Kevin Readington asked this question specifically so that we can get the answer, because, and here's the weird thing about the way that Patrick answers this, you would think that he would know that, oh yeah, that's the email I was responding to when I was sitting in my car. But no, this man answers it like, I don't know, that could be sent from my phone too. Like, he doesn't know. Like, he doesn't know. But it's not just that he doesn't know, it's that he's defensive. The way that he responds about it. So here's my thinking, is that Kevin Readington knows something, and he's asked this question not because he wants to hear the answer from from Patrick, but rather that Kevin wants Patrick to answer, because once he answers this question, I'm wondering if it means that it now gives the court the ability to investigate what device was it on, what the IP address was, and then they can figure out, like, was this sent from his car? Was this sent from a cellular device, or was this sent from his Surface Pro, which to my knowledge was only a Wi-Fi connected device? And then that's where the bigger bomb came into play, because originally my mind is just thinking like it just shortens the window and it puts them in the basement closer to the time that the kids are supposed to be attacked. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh no, this just makes it seem more possible that Patrick is the one that did something to these kids. And then here's the problem. If the court can investigate the IP address and the device and the location of said device, and whether or not that device was using cellular service or Wi-Fi to connect to the internet, that was the biggest bomb. And that's why I'm wondering if Kevin Readington knows that he's pulling these strings in just the right way, because if it's proven that Patrick responded to this work email from his Surface Pro, from the Wi-Fi, in the basement of his home, which up until this point in this trial, we're supposed to believe that the Nest home security system didn't have footage of this day because the Wi-Fi was out. Did Kevin Readington have Patrick answer this question so they could confirm and investigate all of that information? So now they have to answer the question, how did you send the work email from your Surface Pro at home if your Wi-Fi was out? Which already there is a problem with this story the whole time that has been sitting there in front of us the whole time. Patrick has wanted us to believe that he's been working from home the entire day, while simultaneously the Nest home security system has no Wi-Fi connection because the Wi-Fi was out. So how are you working from home from your Surface Pro if it doesn't have cellular service, but yet could connect to Wi-Fi, but for some reason your Nest security system isn't able to connect to the Wi-Fi? Is Kevin Readington closing the gaps on these missing pieces, on these questions that haven't been answered? Is he making things airtight in the way that I think he is? Because what is it? That you have Wi-Fi or you don't have Wi-Fi? Does your Surface Pro have cell connection or Wi-Fi only? And to my knowledge, to this point, nobody has talked about Patrick having a Surface Pro that has cellular service, which I know a lot of people have been saying that he could have hotspotted it with his phone. But answering this question gives the court the opportunity to investigate what was the connectivity, what was the device, where was this sent from? Is this the bigger bomb? Is this a bigger bomb than what we originally thought it was?